Hello and welcome to Afternoon Tea. We're joined with Mr. Christopher Vagalia, who is the Managing Director for Agri-Tech Organics Limited, and he's going to tell us a bit about his organization. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me, Alice. Okay, Agri-Tech Organics PNG is a nationally owned company. We have been operating in PNG now for the last 2 years. We specialize in the development and research into blockchain and software technologies in general.
Can you please tell us a bit about what blockchain software does?
Blockchain software is a decentralized public ledger, which allows the transfer of encrypted information from one party to another, which is immutable, meaning once a transaction has been sent, it cannot be recovered. And it's not managed by anyone, it's controlled by nodes or different computers throughout a network or throughout the world.
So you guys are working with cryptocurrency?
Yes, we are. We also are developing our own cryptocurrency, which we will eventually be using as a method of payment on the platform itself.
Yeah. So tell me a bit about this cryptocurrency, and I know that you might be familiar with the term Bitcoin. Is that what you guys work with as well?
Yes. We were probably one of the first adopters and users of Bitcoin in the country. Myself, there was another guy that associate of mine by the name of Michael Elu. He has also a huge community of people within the country who use Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, TBC and Litecoin, and there's over 1,000 cryptocurrencies in circulation throughout the world. Those are just to name a few. So as I mentioned previously, we've been using it now for the last 2 years. We've been paying for goods and services online with people from America, Australia, things like that. The interesting thing about our platform as well is I actually paid for the hosting and the domain name and the emails using cryptocurrency.
Wow.
Yeah. So our website is atopng.com. So feel free to go onto our website and read a little bit more information about us and what we do and what our plans are and vision for the future is.
So dealing with cryptocurrency, I know that there is a lot of risks included in it as well, with the rise of hackers worldwide. I know that information can be stolen and manipulated very easily. How can you protect your profile or your account, or how can you provide safety for people associated with your organization? Just how do you provide that security?
Yeah, security is a very big issue when it comes to things of value, especially financial assets or buildings, things like that. So with regard to cryptocurrency, I think the best way is to really mitigate your risk. There are a lot of softwares that are currently in development right now that allow us to store cryptocurrencies offline on a paper wallet. We've already developed something of that nature as well that allows you to store the same thing that you would online but offline. Because once it's offline, then it's not susceptible to hacking. In order for the hackers to get into your system, they need to be able to get through to you using the internet. So the safest thing is to save things offline, and there are things, wallets, they call them e-wallets, that people use to store their cryptocurrency. So you're able to store your funds or whatever assets that you may have onto those USB drives that are specifically built for those purposes, and save them offline, and then you can access them whenever you need the funds.
Okay. Just to paint a picture, what is one Bitcoin average worth?
It's a good question. I haven't checked lately, but the last I checked, it was in the vicinity of $7,000 to $8,000 for one Bitcoin. So you can imagine how wealthy the early adopters of Bitcoin are. Some of them in the early days would have bought one Bitcoin for a few cents. And those who went in and took the risk at an earlier time when Bitcoin first came out are probably millionaires right now.
Oh, I reckon.
Quite wealthy people, yeah.
So I know you're associated as well with Kumul Game Changers. Tell me a bit about your association with them, and as well as what you guys have been doing for the Global Entrepreneurship Week.
Okay. I'm associated with a lot of people within the organization itself. I think the Kumu Game Changers program is a very good program. You know, it's I think what this country needs to drive innovation within the country. Now, I know of a few people within the Kumu Game Changers. I've spoken to them and communicated a lot of my ideas and thoughts with them with regard to innovation and how we can best complement our ideas in addressing some of the pressing issues that our country faces today. Yeah. So hopefully in the next enrollment, I'll probably apply to become one of them as well. So who knows?
Yeah, the entrepreneurship
hopefully,
program.
fingers crossed.
Tell me, what are your values of an entrepreneur?
An entrepreneur for me is someone who just doesn't say no. You know, as I mentioned previously to some of my associates, people see your successes, but they don't see what happens in the background in order for you to get to where you are. You know, for every one step that you make forward, you know, there's always 10 steps that drag you back. You know, the people who are successful are those ones who continuously pick themselves up, motivate themselves. You know, sometimes you just have to be self-motivating. You know, no one's going to be there to pick you up. You know, for some, I think for most entrepreneurs, you know, they draw from a lot of inspiration from, say, their family or the situations that they've either grown up in or they've experienced. So I think that's one of the qualities that most entrepreneurs have. Their minds are set on changing something that doesn't sit right with them, you know, and that is probably the main driving factor why they've come into a place of innovation, so that they can set something right within the community.
For entrepreneurs that may be watching out there or struggling entrepreneurs trying to make it in life and with their business or organization, what is some key advice that you can give to them to make sure that they reach their goal or are able to keep fighting?
Well, in the words of my brother Jordan Bex, make failure your best friend. You know, you will always be met with failure, you know. But just keep picking yourself up and keep at it, you know. As I keep reminding myself and those that I associate myself with, you know, everyone here is here for a purpose. You know, do what you love doing and do it the best that you can.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Vagalia, thank you so much for your time and also shedding light on cryptocurrency and giving us an estimate of around what one Bitcoin would be worth. I think that's the next step that we should all be going to. I think that's a good investment right there. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you for having me.